what are the systems that you're mostly playing, and how many people do you have? The second one being much more important.
It's 3.5, and we've gone back down, but we're picking back up again. We had a point a couple of months ago where we had about 14, 15 people that were starting to show up. So,
whoa. Okay. So these guys have nothing, so I'm going to take this one because I actually, you guys like D&D style games? You like dungeon crawls and shit like that? Okay. So, interesting thing from the history of Dungeons and Dragons. If you look at old school D&D, frequently, like, if you look at the sort of assumptions based on which the old D&D modules were written, they were regularly written to support as many as 10 PCs at a time. Which, yeah, if you think about it, it's crazy, but then you have to go back and consider that first edition AD&D, if you don't get into all the really fiddly parts of the rules, is incredibly fast to run. Melanie and I have been playing the Slave Lord series recently, and we routinely get through 5 or 6 combats in the time that it takes my group of 6 people playing either 4th Ed or Pathfinder to get through one. So if you're committed to an old style dungeon crawl type game, what you can do is you can go with an older edition of the game where combat is a hell of a lot simpler and the rules are just not as fiddly. You don't have feats, you don't have as many combat options. It's not maybe as engaging for some people tactically, but you can get through a combat that has 10 players in it in like 40 minutes, where you would never be able to do that with the later editions of the game. So that's one thought. I'm now going to turn it over to these people who are probably going to tell you that you have too many people.
I would say the same thing, because yeah, it was meant to. And the other thing is, if you go to an older edition or a simpler combat game, you could always add in complexity in the environment if you wanted to. Like, they could start interacting with their environment in complex ways and do the kind of cool stuff they want. But you can always decide to limit it. So you only have maybe one per night where it's cool like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Overriding Jack's veto, my response would be like, no, we're going to play different games. I'll be in the basement with 4 people, and you'll be upstairs with 4 people. And we might both be playing the same game. We might even be playing in the same campaign, same universe. We might send people up and down the stairs as our characters. We switch from place to place. But don't try and get 14 people around the table, because you guys ever played
waiting for their turn.
Yeah, they're all just going to be sitting there waiting for their turn. They're going to be sleeping or checking their phones or whatever. So, what's the engagement there?
You know how when you're playing Carcassonne, on the side of the box it says for 2 to 5 players? People forgot to do that with role-playing games, but it's really true. They work different games work for different numbers of people. I really like games for 3 to 4 players, so those are the ones that I write, because those are the ones where you sit down and look your friends in the eyes, and by the end of the night, you understand your friends a little bit better. With Dungeons & Dragons, it sounds like earlier editions work really well with large numbers. I've watched groups playing Pathfinder not get anywhere over the course of an evening because there are too many people, and mostly they're doing something else. Steve's suggestion is what I would do too. I mean, I think at that point when you've got that many people, you say, wait a minute, we've got a unique situation here. Let's design a system. Let's design a game where this is going to work. Let's figure out a way to have input and output between our two groups. I don't know if it's running up and down the stairs. It's whatever. But you need to design a system that does that, because it's not designed for that many players. You're breaking it, and in order to unbreak it, you need to do something. You change the specification of the system, and so you need to change the rules.
Actually, this is making me think a little bit about LARPs, and I have a confession to make to all of you. I used to play Mind's Eye Theater. In fact, I went through a 5-year period where I dated nobody but women I met playing vampire. I'm going to say this now, in hindsight, I'm clean. I've been clean for years. You guys can do it too. I'll be your lifeline. But the one thing that storytellers in big vampire LARPs do have to deal with quite often is they've got a big game with a lot of things happening, and time gets disconnected. And it is possible to tag team with another GM and have a game happening in the same world and sync them up occasionally. And so you've got a friend in your group who also wants to DM. You guys can try tag teaming. It's a lot more work and bookkeeping, and it's tough, but it can be really rewarding if you pull it off right.
All right. So this is totally speculative, but think about this. All right. So this is a game design problem as far as I'm concerned, because you're changing the specs, right? So what if you have your inputs and outputs live, but it all has to do with what happened in the last stream. So we're playing one group up here, and you're playing a group down there, and you're playing a group that came through here last year. And so we're playing the stuff. We're playing with the resources that you guys dropped from the last time you came through. And so we're learning about that live as this is happening. So if you left us treasure, we're finding that treasure. If you had to drop potions, then the potions that we've got are the ones that you dropped. So in other words, you still have that feedback loop. You're not just saying, you 13 people hang on while this guy figures out if he can use his great cleave or not.
Okay. I think we should do we have